wants you to look good, feel good, and live good. I'm Eloy Gomez. I'm the CEO of Mr. Jeff. The story of Jeff began in 2015 when me and my friends Adrian and Ruben wanted to create a business that changed lives. After hard market research, we said, guess we got it. We realized the laundry sector had not evolved to the 21st century. While people was buying, listening to music, renting a flat, or finding love through mobile apps, laundries were still in the street with no technology. So we got down to business and offered them the solution, Jeff. Now, Jeff is the first super app that offers daily services on making people's life easier. You can book laundry, beauty, or fitness services from Jeff app. But Jeff is more than that. We decided to return to the neighborhoods what digitalization took away from them, and we create a digital franchise model. However, the road to get here has been like a roller coaster. Firstly, we created as the tech platform to connect laundry services with users. After, we want to control the logistic step, to offer and guarantee the best experience to our customers. So finally, we realized that combining franchise model with tech platform was the perfect business match to offer the best possible service to our users. We choose a franchise model that allows us to scale faster and with better quality for our end customers. Today we have more than 2,000 Jeff points in more than 30 countries from Asia, Latin, Europe to Africa. Well, we started just 3 friends, end of 2015. Now, almost 4 years later, we are 500 Jeffs of more than 25 nationalities. So we are really proud of the team that we have built so far. Definitely, we try to create a Jeff culture to provide the best possible service to our customers. Jeff will not be just one solution. Jeff wants to become an ecosystem. We see that the future will be around 40 to 50 ecosystems in the world, and we want to play a role there. This is our 3rd company. We have successfully sold the 2 first, and now we have a clear vision to go to IPO, be a public company next 3 to 4 years.
Thank you for that video, Kanika. Friends, a very good evening to all of you, and I welcome you all to today's webinar. I am Sonia Chaudhary, MD Franchise India. And friends, this opportunity that we're bringing to you today is a company called Mr. Jeff, the video that you saw. And this is an international company, and this is also a market entry opportunity. Mr. Jeff is already present in a lot of locations across the globe. And this is a company which is based out of Spain. And they're looking at master franchisees for India, where their initial focus is to look at partners for top 11 cities in the country, and hence this is a market entry opportunity. And why Franchise India? Franchise India is also a partner with this company, where if you know about our company, we are Asia's biggest franchise solution company, and we have in our 24 years of our existence, our journey, we've worked with thousands of companies where we worked with them to expand their franchise base, and also we have worked with hundreds of companies to bring them to the Indian territory, where we have helped companies to come to India and get them master franchisees. So we felt this opportunity with Mr. Jeff was very, very exciting, and especially a category where I don't have a single international brand today as I speak. इस category में कोई भी हिंदुस्तान में international brand exist नहीं करता. And that's when we reached out to Mr. Jeff and we requested that if Franchise India, could become their country developer, and they trusted our abilities and the work that we had done. And most importantly, we were more confident on this opportunity and this category. So they gave us the responsibility of, selecting the right candidature profile. And at Franchise India, like I mentioned, we work with some of the top companies in the world in India, and managing some of the marquee brands as well. So unless as a company, we are not sure about business model, category, people, leaders behind, we do not present or undertake the rights ourselves. So we're very sensitive and selective of opportunities that we undertake as company and present to our partners or prospective partners. So unless we have our own conviction belief, we would never do that. So that was the reason, we brought this opportunity to India. And this was only last year in the last quarter, of 2021, where we decided that we wanted to, partner with Mr. Jeff and bring them to Indian territory. Now, a little bit on the brand, and friends, I'll request if you can also let me know what cities you come from. आप नीचे Q&A box में use कर सकते हैं, mention what city, because I'm looking at the top 10 cities to start off with. It is not an opportunity for tier 2 to begin with. So only top 10 cities is what our initial focus is. So before I take you through a presentation, I will let you know a little bit about the brand also. And also along with me, I have Ms. Nitika, and she's also working on this project along with me. And I'm sure she must have communicated with a lot of you who are already there on the webinar. So, and she'll also take the conversation ahead after the webinar for somebody who wants to, get more insights and understanding on how this association works. So the company, Mr. Jeff, is a successful company globally, and they formed up their mind to come to India last year, like I mentioned. They currently, are present in about 40 countries across the globe, and the biggest market in the world, which is America, they entered last year. And recently they did a very big launch, and they're expanding rapidly in America. And they, associated with a company called Clean Ventures. Clean Venture, if you can even Google, is a venture capital fund. And this is one of the biggest funds which only invests in laundry companies in the growth stage. And this is the company which partnered with Mr. Jeff for America expansion. So I'm giving this example and a reference to understand the kind of partnerships globally they have and the kind of pedigree and profile of people they have partnered with. Even the last year, which was very difficult for players across the world, companies, small, big, large, irrespective of their sizes, irrespective of what part of the globe they were, every company was affected. And this company, Mr. Jeff, even in the last year, which was during the COVID period, they raised a very big, funding round, and that was their Series B. They've already done their, Series A funding round. So this was Series B funding round, which was led by, a company called All Iron Ventures, and they raised about 17.4 million pounds in this round. And some of the investors, I'm sure, if I take their names, they also participated, So some of the investors from companies like Alibaba, Uber, Stripe, Dropbox, all these investors, companies also participated in this round in Mr. Jeff, which is Series B. And they've also entered some of the biggest markets, and I'll take you through the locations or regions which they currently have a presence in. And Brazil is very interesting market, and I would say it is comparative to India because the kind of demographics the country has. It's a very diversified market. They entered that market and they acquired the biggest laundry company in that country, and they became, and by doing that, they consolidated the entire Brazil, in a market which is as difficult as Brazil. They acquired the biggest chain, and they consolidated the market, not only the most important but the largest market in the world through this acquisition. So this brand has been a very fast growing startup. I don't call them a startup anymore because they're the fast growing company across all categories. So when I say all categories, there is no company which is adding number of franchisees every month at a speed, scale, efficiency, and profitability as Mr. Jeff is doing. And two things which are very important, for this company, and that's what they've made the foundation of their businesses: convenience and technology. So the entire business model is based on only these two things, where the company is heavily invested in technology, and everything which touches the life, of a common man individual and how we consume our services is what this company wants to make it convenient. So a little bit on the industry also, friends, I like to talk about. Now, when we talk about laundry as an industry, and maybe when I go back, 8-9 years back, this was an industry which was very, very, traditional and, old way of doing businesses. But the last 4-5 years has given a very big, I would say, positioning to this industry, where almost a lot of companies, even in India also, there were many startups which came up in this category. A lot of these people were not able to do justice because of various reasons. But this, segment became very, very interesting. Even if I look at the size of the market in India today, this is somewhere around, $9 to $10 billion industry. Even if I take the top 10 cities in the country, I'm not going beyond these 10 cities. Even if I take the top 10 cities in the country and look at the 30% population who's working in these cities in companies and consuming these kind of services, it is about $9 to $10 billion market. And this, as the businesses are moving towards more organized, you will find a lot of, traditional players, getting consolidated or moving out, which gives also big room for companies like them to expand. So originally, or how the business over the years have actually evolved, especially when I talk about laundry, there are broadly three segments in this industry. One is very primitive. We've all experienced that. It is dhobi segment, primitive hota hai. It is still working, not so much in tier 1 locations, but largely tier 2, 3 phenomena. This is working, but very, very unhygienic. You don't know where your clothes are going, where they're being washed. There's no transparency which this business gives, right? Second is industrial way of doing your laundry. When I say industrial way of doing laundry, typically these are big, I would say, units which are placed outside the city, and these companies would have smaller collection points inside the city. So these collection points would collect the cloths from household, would go back to these big machines where a lot of clothes from various households are washed in bulk, which means there is mixing of clothes. Again, this is not very unhygienic. This is very unhygienic, does not give transparency to end consumer. And because of the problems or the issues in these two segments, the third model, which became very, very attractive, and that is one model which is growing not only in India but across the world, is the laundry model. And that's very, very hygienic. It gives you a lot of transparency. You know where your clothes are being washed. You know what is happening with your clothes. You know what pricing it is. So all that is something which is happening now in this industry. If you look at people like us, we're all consumers. We typically would have 7 to 8 hours every week to manage our laundry, and this is a big pain point for any end consumer. On an average, even if I don't use or I don't outsource laundry, I would still end up putting an investment of 2,000 rupees every month for a family of 4 alone on washing. And this includes maybe a part-time maid who would help me do my laundry, and she's not doing it herself. There's a machine that would do it. On top of that, add 200 300 rupees on the detergents, chemicals that we use to wash our clothes. Another 500 700 rupees is dhobi, the ironing guy who would use we would use to iron our clothes. And on top of that, add the depreciation cost of the machine that we use in our home. So on an average, 500 rupees is the average depreciation cost, considering the lifetime of that machine. And in spite of all that expenditure we are making, having a machine, help, ironing guy at our disposal, what people don't get still is reliability. They don't know where it is going. Second is quality, which is again a very big question mark. And third is convenience, which is becoming very, very important for millennials like us and people who are in these top cities working. They would not have these kind of hours to manage their laundry, and that is the reason this category has become very, very big, and every year the organized share in this category is increasing. So I'll also now share a very quick presentation. Friends, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box that's at the bottom of your screen. I'll be more than happy to take as many questions as we can. So Nitika, can we have the presentation on the screen? And while we have that, I'll also give you an example, why this category, why this company. And when I go back and see, if you look at, and I'm sure all of you are reading about companies, billion-dollar companies, unicorn companies, and these are relatively companies which have come up, but they've become very, very big. The only thing, these companies, startups, which are becoming billion-dollar companies, are becoming big and relevant, are only ones which have, come up with something which is innovative. And I call that innovative solutions, where they have brought in technology to traditional businesses, right? So traditional businesses like laundry is also traditional business. What Big Basket is doing is not that we were not consuming grocery stores, we were not buying food or having, but all these businesses like, Zomato, Big Basket, Dunzo, Paytm, all these, businesses have become big. They brought in technology to the traditional businesses. And that's where disruption, started happening, where through the use of technology, end consumer was able to solve their day-to-day convenience issues. So the company was founded in 2015, and which is about 7 years back now. Present in 40 countries, based out of a city called Spain, and it was founded by 3 friends. And you saw Eloy talk about the business. And technology and convenience are 2 main things which the company is based on. Now, this market, if I look at globally also, is very fragmented market. There are a large number of companies which are competing for the same market share. So when I say a lot of companies competing for the same market share, it also means there is a room for a market leader. There was always a room for the market leader. And this is where Mr. Jeff managed to revolutionize a sector. And they are today a world leader in laundry. So So convenience, as I mentioned, is a huge convenience, is a huge priority with all of us. And we're living in an era of, a convenience economy. So what LinkedIn is to maybe a professional network, what Amazon is to e-commerce services, this is what Jeff is to personal services, day-to-day services, everything that we consume at home. Globally, they have integrated that into technology. So anything that touches the life of an individual, a consumer, the company wanted to make it easy. In India, we're launching only one part of the business, which is laundry, while at the global level, they have other businesses also, which is their, coffee. If you are following Jeff or you know the brand, they recently launched their very smart cafes, very small, tighter format, 80 square feet kind of cafes, which they launch, in Spain. So they also have beauty business. They also have fitness business, so business of all convenience. But India, they would start with one business. Next slide, please. So this is what it is. So and as you see here, all the pictures I briefed you about, which is fitness, which is food, which is cafe, which is services like laundry, fitness is all what they do. And with only one vision and goal, they wanted to make the life of the community they touch easy. So live good, look good, and feel good is the buzzwords with them. Next slide. So quickly on, the people behind. So these are the three founders of the company, where Eloy is, the main promoter of the company. He's a CEO and he looks after all the operations, followed by Adrian, who is the guy who takes care of the entire technology. And technology is, one big USP of the company, and it can fail, biggest of companies, I would say, and it can, the kind of technology this company has invested in. And we have Ruben, who takes care of the marketing globally for Mr. Jeff. And these are three main founders of the company. Next slide, please. Interesting story of the company. And if you look at the growth, they started in 2015 with one location in Valencia. And 1 year, they started the outlet. And after 1 year, they launched the subscription model, which is very important for a business of this nature. Now, even if you look today, we consume two kind of things. On one side, as a consumer, I would consume services. I would also consume products. Now, the consumption of product is comparatively low in terms of my customer cycle, but my consumption of services is higher. For example, the services which I consume, like laundry, is also service business. My consumption of service cycle is higher for any consumer than the consumption of product, so to say. So in order to build predictability in the model, the company started subscription model, where every month the same set of household subscribers would subscribe and take these services and pay a lump sum amount to take those services. Now this model, when it is a subscription led model, it gives you a lot of predictability. Even today, when you go to Amazon, there's a button which says you want this as a monthly thing. So you would click and say, oh, I want this product to come to me on a monthly basis. So all convenience businesses are all becoming subscription based business. Only when these businesses are subscription based, it gives you visibility on your business model, your cash flows. 2017 is when they launched their franchise business. So 2 years, they perfected the business model, very successful. 2017, they decided they wanted to franchise because they wanted to scale. And that's what they did in 2017. And then there was no looking back. I've seen companies that are expanding 5 stores, 10 stores, 15 stores, and it takes almost a lifetime for companies. Today also, I can guarantee you take the top companies in every category in India and tell me these are the brands, and tell me how long it took for these companies to reach their first 100 stores. So unlike that, when you look at companies like them, because they have technology with them, that they're able to scale at much faster pace. So if you look at this growth story, they were not entering these 20 cities every year. On an average, they were adding about 10 to 20 countries. So they went to 20 countries in the very first year of their launch. Not one country, not one city, 20 countries in 1 year, which means on an average, they were entering every 2 months, they were entering, 4 countries. And by the time it was 2020, they were already 2021, I would say, they were already in about, 40 countries across the globe. And they're also now looking at bigger clusters like USA, they launched 2021. And they're creating now a very big cluster. You can even Google and check, and a lot of LinkedIn updates every day, every week, they have a new launch which is happening in the country. So this is what their story has been so far. Next slide, please. So this slide, friends, would talk about their current presence. So all the highlighted portion that you see on the screen, which is the global map, this is where the current presence of the company is, which includes America, United States of America, Latin America, they're present in, Africa, they have their operations, Europe, large part of Europe they're already in, and also Southeast Asia, they're present in many countries. So overall, the entire count of the franchisees is about 3,000 plus, not 25, because I always say this is a dynamic number, because every month they add. A lot of companies take entire lifetime to make and reach their first 100 outlet. Every month this company adds anything between 200 franchisees. So 80 से 100 franchisees हर महीने, one anywhere in the globe they are adding. So which means on an average, 3 franchisees or 3 partners every day are launching a Mr. Jeff franchisee somewhere in the world. They have more than 2 million users, and when I say 2 million users, this is a big number. These are subscribers who have been using the services of Mr. Jeff. Next slide. And they're a company, and this is an important slide too, because every time we want to invest in companies, we look at what their credentials are, what the people behind, and also what the marquee investors in the business. So this is an important slide which talks about their achievement. And this is a company which is used as a reference point whenever any company reference has to be taken when it comes to technology. They're a name in the industry, or maybe amongst all businesses, irrespective of laundry hai, food hai. They're a name which is to be reckoned with. 2017 is the year when they were awarded amongst the many startups which the world would have seen in 2017. They were awarded amongst the top 20 startups by Google across the world. And these are some other awards which they have also. One includes marketing and some other tech awards. Next slide, please. So this is a picture of one of their head offices in Spain, and the logos that you see here is the team. Most of the teams, they come with more than 27 nationalities. You heard Eloy talk about that. So very diversified team, very inclusive team. They come with experience of working in all these companies like Facebook, Uber, Nike, Coca-Cola. They're all senior most professional teams come from these companies. So which means not only company experience, but they also have experience of working in various markets and nationalities, which brings a lot of value to an organization of this nature. Next slide. So these are some of the investors, friends, and anytime, we look at investing in a company, especially in these times, every day we have new investors investing in a business. So these are some of the investors who have invested in Mr. Jeff, including, the vice president, Coca-Cola, Airbnb, All Iron Ventures, founding partner, and Kim Jung, who's the founder of, biggest Korean company, which is into gaming. So these are some of the investors, which are marquee investors who invested and had belief in the business of Mr. Jeff. So which means that a lot of due diligence which the company had to do before getting into funding round A and funding B. So these are some of the investors who not only participated but have also invested in the company. Next slide. So I'll talk a little bit on the unique business model and what is the proposition which they're offering to investors. And this is a combination of technology, the know-how which the company has, which means, their SOPs, their processes, and finally the brand. The brand is one of the most powerful brand, in the overall industry, fastest moving brand, and a very big equity which they enjoy in the global market today. Next slide, please. Right. So I'll talk a bit on the business model and what is, the uniqueness of this model. And why it is unique is because they connect both offline and online world. And because this is technology, they don't just have physical outlets. Everything is connected through this technology. And they have a hybrid model. And the physical outlet blends very well with their technology-based solutions. And that is where a differentiated edge for a end customer is created, because he's getting convenience. Like I mentioned, scaling up for many players was very difficult, because this business has a lot of operational intensity which is involved, both back end as well as front end. So if you don't have technology in place, it is a very difficult business to be managed. So they simplified the entire process and they brought in a system which was unparalleled to any other operator, across India. Mein aisa koi company nahi hogi which has the same technology which Mr. Jeff has. So they integrated everything from technology, know-how, their brand equity, and the first thing, and the most important for them is consumer interface. So all the technology that you see is a very big, consumer face, and they're winning their business by having a, very big interface with their end consumer, by offering convenience and by offering a very standardized solution for their end partners and consumers also, and equally for their partners. Globally, they have a 48-hour pickup and delivery mobile app service. So globally, and in some locations it would also be less, maybe 24 hours, but globally their average turnaround time for picking up and dropping is 48 hours, which they maintain, and all that is tracked through their technology. Next slide, please. Yeah, back. Let's go back. So I'll quickly tell you about, the 4 business that you see here, and starting with technology again. They give the entire technical know-how to their franchise partners, and scaling for many people or companies is very difficult if they don't have technology in place, and their technology is groundbreaking. It is not just like any other technology you pay a couple of lakhs and make that. They've invested millions of money in putting this technology to operate the 21st century business model. And this is a traditional business which has huge operational hassles. So if you don't have technology, you cannot counter the challenges, right? So address this issue. They created their SOPs. They created SOPs for each phase of operation, and every franchise partner is trained on that. And you also, as a franchise partner, get support from the super specialists, which they have a team backend who would train you on their entire structures. They have a Jeff lab where entire cleaning technique is also you're trained on. You don't get a simple machine and detergent and you just go take business from the market, but you have a specialized training which the company also conducts in terms of how particular technique in terms of cleaning is to be used and what kind of cloth, and that is to the minutest detailing which the company does. Like I mentioned, they have a very big brand equity and a lot of focus which the company does on both marketing as well as brand, from Google your business metrics to reputation management to SEO optimization. All that is something which company takes care of. And also which is something very interesting, unlike many brands which I see in India, where a franchisee ends up getting very hassled because he does not have a place where you get all the content available. So unlike these companies, they have created a big digital content which has big images, videos, templates which a franchise partner can use and also apply in his local market. So everything can be customized, personalized, and can be hyper locally executed, right from how to reach your audience, how to convert your audience. All that is something which is trained by the company. Not many companies teach you to convert. So that's what their marketing playbook teaches you, not only to reach out to your new audience, but how to even convert your audience, which is to a new another company unorganized, and also how to retain. So all that is something which is a part of their ecosystem. And so when you become a partner with the Jeff, you become a part of the entire ecosystem, which is their online, offline, omni-channel ecosystem. And also because this ecosystem is so robust, which makes very difficult for any competition to break. And that becomes a very big, I would say, entry, a potential barrier for any new brand, either to duplicate what they have done or even better what Mr. Jeff has done is becoming very, very difficult because they have huge investments which they have done in this. Next slide, please. So this is what globally the market looks like. I talked about the India figures, but this is overall, this is $181.4 billion market size globally, and this is the share of this market is increasing. More of this share is going towards organized now. Next slide. Some pictures of their outlet to help you understand how clean minimalistic branding which they do inside their outlets. A small fixture furniture, and at the back is area where you have machines which are your drying machines and also your washing machines. Next slide, please. So this was a picture from one of their stores in Europe, and these are some of the certified suppliers of Mr. Jeff, and these suppliers are available also in India and globally. All their supplies, right from maybe real estate to detergents to their machines, these are their global supplied and certified partners of Mr. Jeff. All supply happens through these partners across the world, including India, where they have regional India distributors through which the supply comes in. Next slide. So we'll talk about the opportunity and what it takes to become a partner. So this is a small format, like you saw in the picture. We don't need an area of more than 400 square feet space, which does require globally 1 to 4 people are deployed. But on an average in India, you don't need more than 3 people to be done at the outlet. So 3 people, a very highly efficient business, 400 square feet of space. Next slide. So if you look at the design, very, very modern design. So what this investment includes is a basic capex that you do in the interior. Second is the investment on the machines that you do. And third is a little bit of branding that you do, that you saw in the pictures also. So the laundry setup is 400 square feet, which has 3 washing machines, 3 dryers, and 1 ironing table. All this investment comes at about 25 odd lakhs for putting up 400 square feet of space, where 10 lakhs is the franchise fees which the company takes, and about 10 lakhs is something which goes towards your machine, and another 5-6 lakhs goes towards basic interiors and branding. So all put together, this is the investment which requires for putting up one single Mr. Jeff. And there are 3 services which the company offers, which is the main service is laundry and ironing. And globally also, in India also, these are two main services which forms almost about 85 to 90% of your revenue comes only from these two services. The third service is dry cleaning and also wet cleaning. So wet cleaning is something which they also integrated in their model. So a lot of companies today, especially a lot of international companies globally, this is becoming a phenomena where people are abstaining from dry cleaning because of the use of chemicals. So wet cleaning is becoming very, very popular, which you can also integrate in the Mr. Jeff laundry with a little bit of small investment in additional machine. But typically laundry and ironing, this is a setup that you need. High productivity because it does not require you to add too many people. When you look at a food outlet or any retail outlet, it is very high in operating expenses. But a format like this is very low in terms of your operating expenses. Rest, everything is variable. So you have two fixed costs. I would say one is a rental, which is fixed cost to you. And again, you don't need to have the most prime location. It is a hyper local business. You have to be in the right neighborhood. Neighborhood acha hona chahiye, theek hona chahiye, but not the most expensive location. For example, there are companies, they would have the right neighborhood. And if I have a captive audience, which is high-rise building, especially, that's where you get, the highest or bigger clusters from. You need not be in the prime location in the front. You can be somewhere in the back lane, which is comparatively low in terms of your rental. So ideal rental should not be more than 60 to 75,000 in this case. And then you need about 3 odd people. That comes to you at additional, I would say, 35, 40, thousand kind of a investment or a operating expense every month. So both these expenses are your fixed expenses every month. Where these 3 people also you don't hire in the very first month. Maybe one person starts in the second month, second person comes in the third month, you have the third guy joining in. So your fixed expense in terms of your rental and your salary does not go beyond 1.2 odd lakhs. And on an average, if I look at the potential of the business, any such laundry setup can easily do anything between starting is about 3 odd lakhs, but I think 3 to 5 lakhs is something which easily a setup like this can deliver, where your fixed cost is very, very low. So which means your margins are very, very high. So easily, agar aapka 3-3.5 lakh ka business hai, any franchise partner can make easily 1 lakh of business running a laundry like that. Next slide, please. So these are the locations, friends. These are top 11 cities, tier 1, all of them, which is Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. We're looking at, like I mentioned, I'm looking for only a city master franchisee who takes the entire right. And very quickly, I'll show you what it takes for a city partner and how do you become a city master franchisee. Next slide. Next slide, please, Tika. So as an area franchisee, like I mentioned, if somebody's keen on even looking at a unit franchisee, I would be happy to discuss. But my priority for me is to look at a master franchisee for one city, where as a master franchisee, you get the entire territory, say Delhi NCR. Minimum potential of the territory has to be 25, which is by contract. Obviously, maybe a city like Delhi would have a potential of, NCR would have a potential of 150 odd locations. Bombay would have another 75, 80, and similarly, other cities would have. But no location which has a potential of less than 25, we will not award a master franchisee. So a master franchisee would own and operate one store of his own, and he would sub-franchise the rest. So what you get when you are looking at this proposition is you make the investment of 25 lakhs in your own store, and plus you pay a territory fee for taking the territory, say Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, whatever that city is. What you get in return is a 50% one. For your own outlet, you get a 50% waiver on franchise fees. You also get a 50% waiver on the royalties. Second, your income, 2 main sources, which is 50% franchise fees, whatever is collected from the subunits comes to you as your income source, and 50% of royalties which are collected from unit also comes to a area franchisee. Now looking at the potential, and if I take only an example of say 25 units, but locations like Delhi might have 100 units, Bombay would have big, Hyderabad would have bigger, Pune would have bigger potential. But even if I take these 25 location potential, and I multiply that with the franchise fees and royalties that you would get just by opening 25 units in a span of say 5 years, you have a potential to earn almost 3 crores alone from franchise fees and royalties that come to you as a part of your master franchisee agreement. And what you need to pay is a small fee of $50,000, which translates to around 38 odd lakhs for blocking that territory. So the potential is huge, where on 38 lakhs, you have potential to generate almost 3 to 6 crores of revenue. So friends, this is what we had to showcase you today. And there are 2 parts of the presentation. This was something that talked about the brand and broadly the opportunity that we're looking at. But somebody who's keen to discuss more in detail on the financials, I'll be more than happy to come on a one-to-one call or a meeting with anyone. who wishes to proceed ahead. And Nikita from our team would reach out to all of you friends for taking discussion ahead. I will put my number also. Anybody who wants to WhatsApp, reach out to me, can do that on this number. And Nitika, I'll also request if you want to put the email ID, and she'll reach out to all of you friends, and any questions you have, she'll be more than happy to address these. So with this, friends, I'd like to thank you all for being with us today. I wish you all a great week ahead. Thank you and have a great day.